really impacted. Very difficult to remove. Bit of a long one, this. Second one, not too bad. There's a little gap over the top of it, like you can see there. You may have heard a bit of the audio. I was just asking this lady if she'd been poking anything in there, like any cotton buds. She said not. Her ear told a different story, however. so, again, I'm not sure if I believe her or not, but I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Excuse me. But as soon as I started to try and lift this off the base of the ear canal, I thought, oh no, we're in for a bit of a battle here. It's kind of like squidgy rubber. It's a bit like one of those bouncy balls. You can just see these, as I'm trying to lift it up there, having to pull so hard, and it is just so stuck to the base of the ear canal there. And I thought, oh no, we're in for a battle here. You're probably thinking you should put some oil in there. I did, a bit further on. I find if you put oil in when it's right at the entrance here, again it just flies everywhere, it makes visibility quite difficult. So I did go with the oil a bit later on when it gets a bit deeper down, and it did help to finish the procedure off. Don't forget, if you do like these videos, I know many of you do, then press the like button. I think there'll be a little subscribe thing above me there. I would really appreciate it if you did, whichever platform you're watching on, be that TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I think not. I don't know if anybody watches on Threads. Does anybody still use that? I'm not sure. I don't bother with Twitter either. Not since Elon Musk took it over anyway. That's another story. So as you can see, it's incredibly dark this, as soon as we've got rid of the first section. And it goes all the way down this. It was really tough stuff. But what was frustrating about it was, when the whole thing starts moving, you think, great, Brill, it's on its way. But it just keeps breaking apart. And, you know, these fragments of debris, mostly skin, it just peels away, but it's just not staying together. Which is very frustrating. If you're getting frustrated watching these, imagine how I feel trying to do it. A little bit of darkness as well. I'm still getting used to the new endoscope and the settings and everything. I'm getting there. Sometimes it looks clearer than others. Some eyes just tend to do that. It's to do with the distance you are away from the plug, how close you need to hold the endoscope. You know, there are some manual focus settings on it that you can sometimes turn, and then it gives the image, makes it slightly sharper. But sometimes when you're in there and you can see well enough, to keep the camera in there and then come back and refocus and whatever, it's just a bit of a faff. If you can see it well enough, then great. Don't forget, this is a medical procedure. Whilst I know you like watching it, it's not made for your entertainment. It is a medical procedure, so if it's a little blurry at times, yes, I could have come out, refocused, readjusted all the right settings and all that. But there's absolutely no need if you're in there and you're making headway. Then just keep calm, carry on. Now, here's at the point where I've put some oil in. And it didn't make much of a difference to start with, but certainly when it came to removing the last bit, it did make a big difference. It tended to stay together a little bit better. You might notice, actually, since I got this new endoscope, that there's a little triangular cutout in the bottom right of this. Now, why is that there? I don't know, is the honest answer. I think a lot of them, certainly from oil specialists, they're all pretty much made in the same factory, I believe, in China. And some manufacturers choose to fill in that little hole, some don't. I can only assume it's something to do with the moulding process. You know, it's attached to something. I don't know. I'm not expert in these kind of things, but it really doesn't bother me. So I didn't send it back and say, can you please fill in that tiny little triangle? It didn't bother me that much. You might notice that sometimes it's not a perfect circle either. I'll tell you why that is. Because the endoscope here, it sits in this little bracket here. And sometimes when you're in there, you know, when you hold it, there's lots of different ways to hold it. I personally hold mine like that and brace with those fingers. Some do it like that, hold it between the finger and thumb, and use the other hand there to brace. This is to stop the patient's head coming towards you. I've even heard of somebody who uses it like that, which I find a bit weird, but it's whatever's comfortable and whatever's safe. You know, there's no right and there's no wrong way of doing it. But anyway, when it's in here and it's resting on your wrist like this, sometimes it becomes a bit loose in here, and it might just slip a fraction of a millimetre, and then that's why you might see a little edge cut off, because basically it's moved in the holder, and that's why you can sometimes see those little square edges if it's not a perfect circle. And again, you're not going to come out the ear and readjust it, get it back in, just for the sake of you having a perfect circle on the screen. But that's why. My new one actually is coming today. So this is a new Enscope. Lovely clear. There you go. The end of that. Bit angry that I can now, but you know what's a lot better than it was to start with. So yeah, the new iPhone's coming today, so I'll be able to record in 4K. So it should be a better resolution and a higher frames per second. So hopefully that'll be good. And those cases that come with that, it's more of a full case, so it's less likely to slip out. So that's on the new one I'll set in. Will sit in, sorry. So you get more secure in there, so you're less likely to have those little cutouts every now and then for when it slips. This one actually did crack in the corner, but it's held together by super glue. That's how excited I am. Could have bought another one. I don't even know if they make these anymore. But they're extortionate. For a piece of plastic, it's extortionate. So I thought, you know what? I'll just bodge it. And it does the job. This is the other ear, which is not as blocked as the other one. Blocked enough that we need to do something about it, because you can see a little gap at the top. I did think of getting something above that and pulling it, but I think it was quite stuck, this. And I would rather give something a wiggle around and unstick it from all the areas of the canal wall, rather than drag it out while it's still stuck. That's why I use the suction ear and not a tool. Because you know, if it's still stuck, you know, getting something behind it and dragging it, you cause a risk of friction or some minor trauma. You know, it would be nothing major, but I just find it's slightly safer to just keep wiggling until all the areas separate. Especially bearing in mind how sticky the other one was. So I'll give it a good wiggle. It might take a little bit longer, but these things are all done in the safety and the best interests of the patient. Just pull the tail off that one. Now, looking for a slightly flatter surface on that, because they've just got this pointy bit at the end, which is a bit difficult to get a full seal. So I'm trying to kind of using the suction sometimes as a curette, trying to attach slightly and then drag it, and it can work that way. But I think we're only a couple of shakes away from the whole bit just loosening. You can feel it and you can see it, in fact, when you're doing that shaking. Excuse me. And then all of a sudden you see it move a lot, and then that's just at that point there, that's how you know that the whole thing has let go further back down where you can't see. Now this nice little chunky one.